Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on the struggle bus again. Because guess what? That little plug right there is supposed to go to this hose, but I can't get it out because somebody put a steel plug in on an aluminum intake. And if you don't know what that means, it means it corroded to the intake and has now created a bond that's stronger than dried Wheaties or dried cheese from making mac and cheese. It's the strongest bond you could possibly get that you don't want. And now the plug is stripped. So now, long story short, I got to take the intake back off. I got to take the whole entire intake back off and drill the plug out, just so I don't get metal shavings in the coolant and destroy my water pump, which I'm replacing anyway, so it shouldn't matter, but I do things properly, so I gotta pull it back out. This is bullshit. That little plug has just ruined the whole thing. That little tiny ass plug has just ruined the whole thing. Because everything, it's full of coolant right now. It's full of coolant right now, so I gotta drain it again. I gotta drain it all again, pull all the intake bolts out. They were such a pain to get in. This is just so irritating. Well, at least you get to watch my struggles and be entertained by it. Most of you are probably entertained by this fact that I just failed. Most of you are probably on your ass laughing. Thanks. It's real helpful. So close to getting it running, and one little plug has just ruined the whole thing and turned it into a 1-year event of just getting this intake on. It's gone from 1 week to 3 weeks just to try and get this intake back, just to try and get this thing running with this intake. It already runs, but it won't run if there's no coolant going through it. So I've filled up with coolant after fixing this little plug down here, because that was sealed off, so I had to pull the whole thing out. And that plug is the only problem left, and now I have to drill it out and retap it with a drill bit that doesn't exist. Or with a tap that doesn't exist, because it's like a 7/16 thread. Or something huge like that. So I gotta buy a drill bit that doesn't exist. Or that I don't know if it exists, I should say. So I guess it's gonna postpone everything and make it another 5 days on the intake that you guys will hopefully follow along with. If you guys know any other way of getting that out, it's stripped. It's stripped in the center. So there's no way of pulling it out any other way other than just melting it out, which is probably going to melt the intake too. Or I got to drill it out because it's a steel plug and aluminum housing. Or, plan C, I can take this thermostat off and put another one on that has a coolant plug in it, so I can run this hose over to my coolant port here, which would be on a new thermostat. Chances of that working are very slim, because it comes out at an angle that hits the intake. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no clue what the hell I'm going to do. Alright. So I'll see y'all later.